Larry Mandel joins us, broker and owner of Top Floor Homes and Three Keys Property Management. Well, welcome, Larry.
Thank you.
Yeah. Larry, you know, people are out there, they're looking at well, I think everybody looks at houses all the time, just online, but there's a lot of people throughout the new year who start to maybe take that a little bit more seriously.
Yeah.
And how do you see those buyers and the buyers coming into the market, coming off of a new year?
Well, the first thing is, you're right. Buyers are looking on the internet. And the first mistake most of them make is they think that they can just make a phone call, go look at the house and buy it. But they're missing most of what they need to do, and they learn the hard way. And these are repeat buyers and new buyers, because once you bought a home, you forget what you just went through buying the home. So that's where the value of a real estate agent is very important. It used to be that real estate agents held the book that had the listings. And so you needed an agent.
Literally the three-ring binder.
It was a big book. Every week it was updated. So the only way you would find out about homes on the market is either drive by and see a sign or have a realtor look in the book. Well, we don't have a book anymore, and buyers have access to every property that's on the market. So what is the value of a real estate agent when you're buying a home? Well, buying a home is a complicated process unless you know the steps and you follow the steps. And the value of a real estate agent is if they coach you through each step, it's a lot less stressful than it'll be otherwise. And chances are it'll conclude successfully as opposed to blowing up at the end. Let me give you some examples. Every purchase comes with an inspection. And managing the inspection is always a challenge for real estate agents, whether you're representing the buyer or the seller. And what's really important is that most buyers do not understand the significance of something found in the inspection. So let's say there are 10 items there. You read the list of these items, and without really knowing, you may assume that the house is falling apart. When in fact, if you take each item one by one and talk with the professional, usually the inspector, you'll learn that for $300, all 10 items are fixed and it's not a big deal. But you wouldn't necessarily know that. And that's what good coaching through the process gets you. Here's another good example.
Well, it sounds like it puts things a little bit more in perspective as somebody who sells real estate, works with buyers all the time.
Well, that's right. Buying a home is a very emotional thing, and you're very subjective about everything. Our job, if we're going to be a good buyer's agent, is to be objective and to keep things clear and balanced, not to get drawn into the drama of buying the house. You're going to count on us to keep you grounded, but you need a professional to do that. And most real estate agents will manage your expectations and help you through the process, but there's some subtleties that seem to be missing with a lot of transactions. One of them being the inspection, and the other, the biggest part of buying a home is securing the loan and closing. And
I do know a little bit about securing the loan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe you can help us out on this topic, but
well, I mean, what we see is it's an element of people being serious or not, and people who want to go looky-loo, they don't want to get pre-approved. And the worst thing that we can ever imagine is telling, "Oh, you're pre-qualified. We trust you.
Yeah.
Go put your offer in," and then, as you said, it's emotional. So everybody and their kids are excited about this house. They're ready to go. And next thing you know, the loan isn't there because you got some shoddy loan officer.
That's right. And there was a time not too long ago where pre-qualification was all you needed because you could get a
there's
loan
loans for everybody. Absolutely.
Loans for everybody.
That's right.
Not the case anymore. And the pre-qualification really is a good starting point. But what you really want to do is work with a mortgage professional to look at your entire financial package. They understand the requirements today. They're a lot stricter than they were 5 years ago, 3 years ago. They're more like they were 20 years ago and 30 years ago, where you really had to follow some guidelines or you were not going to get the loan. It's a more responsible way, but if you don't take those steps, you're going to be very disappointed. You're also going to be at jeopardy for losing any security deposit or earnest money that you put down on a purchase. So pre-qualification, pre-approval is really what's important.
And just to kind of to piggyback on that, I mean, the real difference there is pre-qualification is you're just trusting what your potential buyer is saying on our end. Pre-approval is really when we take all their tax returns, all their pay stubs, their W-2s, and we actually look at them to go, look, we know that this is an approvable deal. And I think it gets lost in translation sometimes.
Yeah, and I would bet that when you're on the phone doing a pre-qualification, you'll ask a question and the response you'll get is, oh, yeah, that'll be fine. It's not a big deal. And then when you really...
Especially, how's your credit?
Exactly.
It's great. Never had a problem.
You mean I have child support in there?
Right.
Oh, you didn't mention that.
Right.
All those things are really very, very important. And some of the mistakes that people make once they get into the process of, once they've got the loan in process, they found the property, the loan is in process, well, things you may not know is don't go out and buy a new car. Don't mess with any of your financials at that moment until it closes, because your financials will be looked at all the time until it closes.
Well, the big thing, a lot of people will say, oh, my pre-approval is good for 90 days. And it's just not accurate. Your pre-approval is good until something changes. Exactly. I mean, it's pretty much indefinite. You might have to get a new credit report, but if your credit stays the same and you're still in the same position financially, then you're still going to most likely be approved for the same thing, barring huge mortgage changes like we had over the last 5 years.
Yeah. Now, here's the gotcha. You get up to the 11th hour. You've been very good. You haven't made any changes. You haven't bought a car. You're waiting for it to close, and you get this phone call from your agent, your lender, or the escrow company that's managing the process, and they say, oh, we need this document, and we need that document, and by the way, you need an additional $2,500 for this. This is not new to the industry. This has been the case for many, many years, and the process, and you can verify or tell me I'm wrong, but the process is every time paperwork goes to the lender, someone different typically is doing the review to approve the next step. And so they may see something that the reviewer prior to them didn't see that they want answered.
It's not necessarily the reviewer. It's the fact that typically somebody will send in a bank statement that has another $10,000 deposit. And what that does is that new statement now opens up another can of worms. And that new statement, so it's not necessarily who's reviewing it. It's the fact that a retirement statement where somebody goes to their accountant at the end of the year and says, hey, Mr. Accountant, I'm going to save money on my taxes. I'm going to pump my IRA or my 401k full of money. And now there's this $12,000 or $15,000 deposit. So now what happens is, well, wait, now we need a paper trail where that came from. So the circumstances, it's actually it's the paperwork that creates more paperwork.
Okay.
Not the reviewer.
Well, and that paper trail...
Saving my underwriters some face here.
Okay. No, I'm not trying to put blame. I'm just trying to educate people to know what typically goes on. And the gotcha there is that paper trail, you've already packed it. The box is sealed. You don't know which box it's in. So those are the kind of things that you should be prepared to... If you understand those things, they won't hurt as much when they come along.
Larry, we have about a minute left, and I want to make sure we do hit on this. There's more than just the transaction management. It's bringing light to some of the things that people are going to see, almost foreshadowing some of the issues you might have. And do you think that takes some of the emotion out of it, so people aren't, especially with first-time home buyers, which is what we see a lot of.
Yeah.
That way, they're not taking every little change, like the couple $1,000 they need to bring in, like the new piece of paperwork. There's an element of calming people down, isn't there?
That's right. Managing expectations, answering questions before they come up, and coaching. It's a lot of coaching. And the one element before we conclude here that I want to talk about is a good buyer's agent will play devil's advocate to a property that you're falling for. And the best question is to turn to that buyer's agent and say, if I buy this and then one day I go to sell it, will you want to list this home? Is it one that you're going to want to list and think you can sell easily? So if there's a noisy road behind there and the agent says to you, I don't think that's a good idea, walk away from the property. That's just one example. But it's our job to bring those things to your attention.
Well, Larry, thanks so much for joining us. And I think the other key there is with any New Year's resolution, if you're going to make it happen, and some sort of exit strategy is also important, because if you go join that gym and things aren't working out in the same way you might buy a house that you want to sell, make sure you know what contracts you're signing. Make sure that you don't go sign up for a gym membership that you can't ever get out of, or a phone contract or something just because it excites you. And it's really the same thing with a house. Don't go buy a house that you can't get out of, or you might not be able to rent for your mortgage payment, things of that nature, so you can make sure to get out of it. Again, that's Larry Mandel with Top Floor Homes and 3 Keys Property Management. When we come back, a lot of, every house I went into had some sort of decoration going on for the holidays, and maybe you're just taking it down. But you know what? You still want to keep some type of great decoration in your house. Stay tuned. We're going to show you how to do that. My name is Ben Brashen. There was Larry Mandel. You're listening to Brashenomics.